proliferating problems. So I've talked about, mulching God's garden with love last week. And you know what? That started to make a lot more sense to me. And there's ways to love. Charity, giving is one form of loving people. Kindness and caring, concern, affection, showing people respect and showing humility and listening to other people and what they have to say. I mean, keep an open mind. I mean, you might be able to sway my opinion on things. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe I am stupid on some issues. Maybe I'm spiritually blind in some ways. And you might be too. And we need to treat each other that way. It's just like people that think all Trump supporters, they hate them. They think they're stupid. They think they're evil. They think they're bad people. They think they're wrong at minimum. So you understand? But there's also, they got to remember that there's all these people that think the same about them. And the devil is in the details there. You see, but do we ask ourselves, what can I do to sway their opinion? If I think I'm wrong, can I convince them in a tactful manner that's not going to repel them instead? That's actually going to be effective, perhaps, to win them over to my thinking? If we did that with each other, we'd see our common ground here, our common interests, and we could unify, and we could make some solid changes. We got to demand it, though. They're not handing it out. So we got to reach people with the right spirit, the right attitude, Then, we're trying to enlighten them, whatever we believe. See, because we could be deluded. We could be the wrong ones. We could be self-deceived. We all know we could do it. We have a propensity to do it. We're humans. It's what we do. So, you understand? Go easy. If you need slack, give slack to others, okay? Okay, friends, I'm on to some recent current events and other talking points. Like I was talking about, the difference between believing something exists and believing in it, okay? While I believe there's evil in the world, I certainly don't believe in it, okay? Believing in something is saying like you trust in it. You have faith in it, okay? So we just got to understand how we can get hung up in semantics and misunderstand somebody. We've got to be very clear when you say, oh, I believe in UFOs. Oh, really? You have faith in them? You have trust in them? You're a nut. Laughter curtain goes up. No, I believe they exist, though. I mean, what's the big deal? I don't find that far-fetched at all. But I do the same thing. Last week, I remember I was talking about how my 1977 GMC van was made. It's nostalgic. I love driving it because Elvis Presley was still alive when that van was made 43 years ago. And I said, you know what, still alive, you see, but I'm contradicting my own beliefs by saying that because I believe what Christ said, that to God all are alive. You can't really die. You see, there is no death. There's a death of the body, but you are not a body merely. You have an essence, a heart, the mind, the spirit, the soul, these invisible, very powerful qualities that live on and on and on forever. I believe we're going to see a lot of people we knew again, okay, if we make it to the right side. I mean, we going downstream, just concentrate on going up. So God help me. I want to go up from here, not down. I want to be around like-minded people with similar values to mine. I want to live in peace and harmony, safety, security, freedom, and prosperity for everybody. Christ said on the cross, forgive them, Father, because they don't know what they're doing. These people that murdered him, that hung him up, crucified him. And that's that same attitude and spirit. That's the power of God that we need to embrace as believers and say, that's powerful. Even if you're just somebody that says, well, that's beneficial teaching, I'm going to adopt that. It is, because it'll help you make peace. If you don't like walking around with a chip on your shoulder and feeling pissed off all the time, indignant, okay, and think, oh, these stupid idiots that said this or that about Trump or about Biden, blah, blah, you know what I mean? Then you say, well, forgive them, Father. They know not what they do. I mean, you might believe that about Trump supporters, and conversely, vice versa. Others might believe that about Biden supporters. So the trick is to say, okay, that's one way I can make peace, is that really they don't know that they just voted Barabbas into office, or, they believe that about Trump. You see, we need to be able to say, it is possible I'm wrong too, and be corrected, but let God's will be done ultimately. I watched Sharyl Attkisson's show Full Measure on Fox. It comes on at 10:30 here on Sunday evenings. And I like her show. I think she's pretty, she pushes the limits, I think, on her journalism. But I would recommend reading her new book, Slanted, But yeah, she exposes a lot of freaky stuff that a lot of people seem ignorant about. Maybe they want to stay that way. Ignorance is bliss. Isn't that what we've been trained to believe? You know, I think it's a sad statement to say, is it possible to ask, is it possible that Biden's victory is attributable to hatred for Trump? But I think a lot of these Biden supporters are definitely good, decent people that believe what they believe, and they are convicted. They're social justice warriors and this type. They're rioters that demand justice. So they wouldn't prescribe well to the Chinese way of life. So I kind of, in a way, I like it because they would never tolerate that behavior in China. So that's one thing good I could say about the Biden supporters, that they're radical, they're risque, and they stick their necks out and demand, whatever it is, they want justice. Basically, isn't that just social justice warrior? So, yeah, I think they'd make crappy fascists and communists and authoritarians. So, yeah, I think I could say that safely about a lot of the Biden supporters, at least that they're well-meaning. To reiterate my advice to Trump, it's, hey, buddy, go out, in a blaze of glory. Okay, and can the Fed, pull a JFK on these people. When you do it, when you make the announcement, from there on out, make sure those Secret Service agents are sticking to you like glue. Yeah, you got them swarming around you, buddy. Because I wouldn't want, man, if you did that, you'd be America's greatest president in history. We'd adore you for doing that, Trump. We would. Thank you very much. And I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want to happen to you what happened to JFK. But they deserve it. We got to get a payoff figure, get the United States Treasury involved. We want a new dollar. We want a reset of our economic reality. And we want sound money. And that sound money is indicated and evidenced by it slowly, steadily, gradually going up in worth. An evildoer's worst nightmare. I like a lot of Trump supporters, too. And, we're very quick to paint an entire group of people with a broad brush because of a few people that are disgusting that supposedly represent that group, okay? And we should stop doing that. It's just not fair, okay? Because most people want to be upright, decent human beings on all sides of the aisle, okay? Communists and socialists and capitalists and Democrats, Republicans, socialists. I mean, liberals and conservatives. There's good, decent people primarily in all those groups, well-meaning people, okay, that really believe what they believe. So if we want to influence their beliefs and alter them, then we need to do it in a tactful manner. But we've got to not offend them. We're trying to be effective, so we need to tap into the very Spirit of God, and that's an attitude in reaching these people in a palatable manner they can accept. Okay, and that's the same thing we would hope is done to us. Because if we're wrong, we want to know, and we want some loving person to enlighten us in a way that we can accept, that's palatable to us. All right, friends, I'm on to a couple thoughts from the last week, and I'm going to read really fast so I can get through a few of them. In reference to mass neurosis and how it affects the way some people drive. Are you really in a hurry, or do you just think you are? In the book of James, chapter 3, in verses 10 through 12, it is written that out of the same mouth come blessings and cursings. My friends, brothers is what is written. This should not be. 1, can both fresh water and salt water flow from the same spring? Or that was verse 11. And verse 12, my friends, it's written, brothers, can a fig tree grow olives or a grapevine bear figs? Neither can salt water yield fresh. True wisdom. Quite simply, we can all be duplicitous. There are manifold examples of this defect in our human nature. The way we judge people, the way we project stuff, our money, love-hate relationship, our issues with nudity. One of knowing both good and evil. this creating a profound schism within our essence. Unfortunately, we all have a semi-conscious, inadvertent bent, a propensity to become evil by what we harbor in our hearts and minds, for that is what will work its way out of our mouths. We can all be hypocrites. We can all be unbecomingly mean. We can all be lied to and believe the lie, and therefore be effectively duped, deceived, and deluded, and delusional. The point is, we need God. That personal, one-on-one, intimate relationship. No man in his right mind can rightfully suggest that I am in any way a bad man or that I am anyone's enemy. Quite the contrary is true.